October has been a month of horrors for Iowa and Minnesota as both teams have struggled with injuries and play, combining for just one win in the entire month. But tonight, they look to turn things around here in Minnesota because it's Halloween and it's time to get down with the Monster Mash. Iowa, Minnesota next on the Big Ten Network. Halloween night here at the Sports Pavilion on the campus of the University of Minnesota, where tonight the Golden Gophers will play host to the Hawkeyes of Iowa. And welcome here inside the arena. I'm Nara Weng, pleased to be joined tonight by Danielle Pflum, the former outside hitter at Michigan. And Danielle, we've got an interesting matchup tonight because, to say the least, both of these teams have been struggling.
Yes, they have. And volleyball game is all about momentum. Both these two teams need this momentum jump to finish this season off.
As you can see, Iowa 0 for October, losers of 8 in a row. Meanwhile, Minnesota has lost 7 in a row, their worst streak ever in conference play. So who's going to turn things around for these two teams? On Iowa's side, let's look to the junior, Laura Kramer.
Yeah, she's doing a fantastic job. She's the most steady player on this team. She's faced many obstacles, including her losing her counterpart, Becky Walters, to an ACL injury at the beginning of the season. But she's this year's team MVP.
On the other side of things, star middle blocker for Minnesota, Jessie Jones, sat out 2 games with an ankle injury, but she's come back and she's the team leader in blocks.
She definitely is that. She sees her team struggling and is attempting to do her part as being a senior leader. Although her play is still not back to 100%, she's looking to outside sources to get some words of encouragement, including 2 former Gophers who are now on the U.S. national team.
So tonight, we've got an interesting one for you here in Minneapolis. It's Halloween night, so who's getting the trick and who's getting the treat here? Women's volleyball in the Big Ten.
Saturday on the Big Ten Network, the top-ranked Buckeyes look to keep their national title hopes alive, but they'll face a major test against upset-minded Wisconsin. Saturday in HD, only on the Big Ten Network.
Take an in-depth look at the Big Ten's brightest female athletes and coaches on the show designed to shine the spotlight on them.
It's played in, and it's a goal!
The Big Ten Women's Show, Mondays only on the Big Ten Network.
What makes a university great? At the University of Iowa, the numbers tell the story. University of Iowa, be remarkable.
The first case of HIV/AIDS was identified 25 years ago. Since then, 25 million people have died. 5,000 people die daily. The fight against this disease still hasn't produced a cure, but every day, each and every person who joins the fight brings us that much closer to winning it. So why should you care? Because it's impossible not to. Join the fight.
Every game, every score, every highlight. It's the FSN Final Score. 30 minutes every night of the week, bringing you all the action from the world of sports. It's the one show where serious sports fans go for serious sports highlights. The FSN Final Score, presented by DirecTV.
Welcome back here inside the Sports Pavilion in Minneapolis. Tonight, Iowa currently sitting in 11th place in the Big Ten, taking on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. First, let's take a look at the visiting Hawkeyes, their starting lineup tonight. And Coach Cindy Frederick's sending out Laura Kramer, Kylie Pfister, Katie Kennedy, the homegrown product, Catherine Smale, Christina Meister, Megan Schipper, and the libero is Emily Heiser. Here's Coach Cindy Frederick in her 4th season at Iowa. She came from Washington State, and before that, Weber State, trying to turn around the fortunes of the Iowa program. On the other side, Minnesota will send this lineup out. Freshman Lauren Gibmeyer, the setters Rachel Hartman, middle blocker, we talked about her already, Jessie Jones. Outside hitter, another freshman, Brooke Dieter. Other outside hitter, Katie Vutterott, Rochelle Haggerty, and the libero is Christine Tan. Their head coach, Mike Hebert, one of the deans in the Big Ten in his 12th year with Minnesota, previously with Illinois before that, and a member of the AVCA Hall of Fame. The last time these two teams met up in September, Minnesota at Iowa. You were there, Danielle.
I was. It was actually an interesting matchup because a lot of times Iowa is very overlooked because they're repeatedly in the lower half of the Big Ten. But they did sure give them Minnesota a run for their money. Didn't come out the way they wanted, but they certainly worked hard.
The Golden Gophers got the win that night, and they were trying to do it tonight on their home floor. As we mentioned, both of these teams really struggling. Minnesota's lost 7 in a row, Iowa's lost 8 in a row. And when you were at Michigan, when you guys were on a losing streak, how did you deal with it?
There's really only one way you can deal with it, and that's to figure out a way to get over it. And it sounds so simple, but it only takes something, whether it be a point, whether it be a big matchup. For Iowa, this would be a huge jump for them. For them to say that they have conquered and beat Minnesota at the second half of the Big Ten, that is something to be proud of. For Minnesota, they need to take care of this game. In order to get the ball rolling back on their side, they need to take care of the teams that they know and they're confident about beating. Which one of those teams is Iowa?
When we talked to Coach Cindy Frederick, she had some interesting comments. Among them, she said that she could relate to Minnesota's struggles. Looking at our team, I don't feel sorry. The one thing I fear is that we could end up being the brunt of their frustration. That's her quote to us, and really, that means that she's afraid that Minnesota, with their talent, a team that was ranked 11th earlier this season, might come out and really take it to her young and inexperienced team.
You know, and that kind of scares me in a way, because if a coach is thinking hesitantly, the team is going to follow. This Iowa team has great potential. I saw that in Iowa City when I was there a month ago. They have great potential. They have talent that can be worked with. They just need to figure out how to put it into a game situation. When that happens, someone's going to pay. So I think she needs to be a little more positive and look at this game like, hey, Minnesota's down. Let's kick them while they're down. Let's get them while they're struggling, and let's turn our season around and benefit from it.
So let's take a little bit of a look at how these two teams have fared against each other all time in a series history. It's all about the Golden Gophers there, as they lead 59-21 all time, and an astounding 24 matches in a row won by the Golden Gophers, and they were sweeping Iowa in that last matchup a month ago. And in fact, Iowa comes in having lost their last 4 matches in sweeps, so if they can just win a game in game 1 or game 2, that might be the thing that sparks them and turns them around.
Yes, before the match, I spoke to the SID of the Iowa side, and he said, you know, all we need to do is start out strong. Well, every team wants to start out strong, but again, it's so simple. It's so simple, but all you have to do is play your game and execute the game that you love. Takes 1 point, takes 1 match, takes 1 game, whatever it is, get the job done.
So who's going to get the job done tonight? And it's Halloween, so you're going to see some interesting fans in their get-ups tonight here in Minneapolis. The band is out, dressed up. You know the band has to be involved. You know they got to get dressed up. Got to bring the spirit of the Gophers here tonight to their fans.
There she is. That's my favorite, Wilma, over there in the corner. Where is Betty Rebel?
And so we are about to get underway.
Service Minnesota. For the Gophers, Rachel Hartman will put us in play.
The setter, Rachel Hartman, will start things off for the Golden Gophers. Iowa in their road black uniforms, Minnesota in the home whites. And of course, there's one player on each team wearing the opposite. That's the libero. We are underway here in Minnesota. Set up for Brooke Dieter, and she tools the block for the first point of the match.
What I saw in that play was hesitancy from the Iowa side. Shipper had the perfect opportunity to get up and rip at that ball, and she was very tentative. That's something that Iowa needs to turn around immediately.
And look to Shipper again, and she is roofed by Rochelle Haggerty.
And again, she is having knee injuries, she's dealing with things, and it's very difficult for a player to be injured, and then physically she could be okay. Mentally, that is what's tough to get through.
Yeah, she hasn't even been able to jump serve anymore since the knee injury. Cut shot there by Kramer, but it's still alive for Minnesota. Now the look to Kramer again, and she's blocked. 3 straight points to start the match for Minnesota.
Looks to me that the Iowa side is being very hesitant. They're a little tentative on all their swings. Even the setter's up there kind of shooting it, not sure what she's doing. They really need to come out strong. Just like the SID talked about, come out strong, play your game, push, 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 execute every point.
And finally, Shipper gets it through the block. So the first point for Iowa, and Laura Kramer serving it up. Hartman looks in the middle for Jessie Jones.
Here's a girl that I always enjoy watching. She is a very offensive and defensive threat. Whether or not that was a miss hit or not, she still finds a way to put the ball on the floor.
Kind of gave the shrug like, oh, well, it worked.
Right.
Little tip, soft touch there, works. Katie Kennedy, the freshman, gets the point.
While we were talking to Coach Hebert yesterday on the phone, he said one of the problems with this Minnesota team is they have a bunch of communication errors. We watched that last play right there. Everyone was looking around. They saw the tip coming, but they were all hesitant and looking at each other. That's when they need to come together and someone scream mine. Someone take control of this ball game.
Dieter from the right side dug this time. Heiser dug it up. Now look for Vaderat, block, and lands out, so the point to Minnesota. 5-2 early on here in game number 1. And Kelly Royslin will serve for Minnesota. The 2-sport star played 4 years of basketball for the Golden Gophers. In the middle, Shipper long. Another point for Minnesota. You played a little basketball in your day. How's it to play basketball for 4 years and then come right back out to volleyball?
You know, I don't know about having played 2 sports in the Big Ten and Division I at that, but I imagine it's pretty difficult.
Another point on Royslin's serve, and we're going to have a timeout here on the floor. Minnesota is up 7-2 early in game number 1. So when we come back, we'll see if Minnesota can keep the run going here in Minneapolis.
The tradition, the emotion, the excitement.
Can you believe that? Wow!
Is here. Over 130 games.
Bullseye! It's good! He's the money player.
One place to see it all. Big Ten Men's College Hoops tips off tomorrow. Only on the Big Ten Network. When these guys speak, people listen.
It's time for Big Ten football.
Thought we went in the game with a little bit of enthusiasm.
Thought it was a great football game.
Coaches Q&A, the 1-hour show featuring the highlights from every Big Ten coach's weekly press conference.
We're proud of the way our kids played across the board, offense, defense, special teams.
Our kids have absolutely played their guts out.
Coaches Q&A, tonight, only on the Big Ten Network.
And welcome back here. The colorful costumes in Minnesota tonight on Halloween.
Love Richard Simmons. Where did he go?
So Royston with a soft floater. Feister on the slide and unable to convert was Amy Huffman, another one of the Iowa freshmen. So Royston riding the streak here to 8-2. Pfister just got there for the set. Now Hartman looking outside. Vutterot only able to poke, and she found the hole.
You know what I'm hoping to see through the duration of this game and match is for these teams to warm up. Maybe it's because it's cold in here that they're feeling a little tentative, but really they look like they're playing like warm-up didn't go so well.
Shipper blocked again, but Iowa keeps it alive. Hartman in the middle. Gibmeyer with the kill. And really, Lauren Gibmeyer, since Jesse Jones' injury, has probably been the best player for Minnesota.
Yes, she has. As we were talking to Hebert again, she said that she is definitely playing consistent. She's carrying the load in the middle, but it also is difficult for a middle to carry the load. There's a lot of things that go into having a successful middle. Passing, which Hebert said that wasn't that great. It was too on and off kind of thing during their 7-game losing streak, which builds problems, especially for a middle.
Vutterot had to kill cross court, and Royston continuing to earn points on her serve. Another chance for Minnesota here. Back for Dieter, and Dieter pounds away in front of Heiser.
Dieter being on the right side right now has the advantage due to the fact that Shipper isn't moving well to the left side because of that knee brace. She made a good decision about striking it down line. It was wide open.
Royston Long with the serve, snapping an 8-0 run by Minnesota. 12-3 your score early here in game number 1, and Iowa is really close to having this game slip away from them. Get things going with Megan Eskew, another freshman, serving it up. Gibmeyer cross court, catches the line in the corner.
You'll see here in this replay, she just looks like she's misconnecting. It looks like her hands get her pulled. I saw that ball going straight down and it's slipping. I think right now they just need to get in their flow. Even Minnesota, they're not playing fantastic. Iowa needs to take advantage of that.
Dieter the server. Pfister in the middle, and another block. This time Katie Kennedy stuffed.
It's always an unwritten rule that when you're one-on-one with a blocker, which she isn't there, but a couple of times the outside on the Iowa side happened, you need to be able to put that ball away.
From the outside, getting through the block was Catherine Smale. Smale and actually Rachel Hartman, the setter from Minnesota, played high school ball together back in St. Charles, Illinois. Here's Hartman setting up Vutterot. Doug. Joust at the net. No, Hartman able to poke. Pfister looking. Another dig. Longest rally of game 1. And then finally Gibmeyer puts an end to it, but out. So Iowa with the point.
I like that. As much as it was an out-of-system play, she gets up and rips it. She could have easily tipped it and been tentative. Again, I say this word so many times, but that's what it looks like out here. She's doing what she can to get some momentum built on her side of the net.
And there Gibmeyer gets the kill. 16-5, Golden Gophers up. In the middle, Gibmeyer, off her head it looked like. And there, hitting the antenna. It's the show for all Big Ten fans, featuring highlights, analysis, interviews, and much more. The Big Ten tonight, every night, right here on the Big Ten Network. Pfister looking for Smale, and again, another block. Gibmeyer all over the net.
You know, one thing that we talk about all the time is hitting percentage and how important it is to winning games. Right now, Iowa is hitting a negative .250, while Minnesota is hitting a .571, which is outrageous.
So we'll be back to see if the Golden Gophers keep it up.
Before kickoff on Saturday, we'll set the stage on Friday. Big Ten Friday Night Tailgate. Join host Mike Hall to find out what's happening on campus as your school preps for the big game.
Our goal is to show you everything surrounding the games each weekend.
Get up-to-the-second reports and see campuses battle it out to determine who really has the best football atmosphere. Big Ten Friday Night Tailgate. Only on the Big Ten Network. Can't keep up with all the Saturday action?
He'll run away from everybody. Touchdown.
Then catch up with Big Ten Extra Points. Every scoring play from every Big Ten game.
Can he get away? Good move. Touchdown.
The throw is caught for the touchdown. All in one show.
To the end zone. Touchdown. This is absolutely unbelievable.
Big Ten Extra Points. Monday nights only on the Big Ten Network.
Some terrific Big Ten football to tell you next Saturday starting at noon Eastern. Wisconsin travels to the Shoe to test the top-ranked and undefeated Ohio State Buckeyes. Or it's an Indiana State battle as Ball State travels to Bloomington to take on Indiana. And then in prime time, Illinois and its high-powered offense goes to Minnesota to play the Gophers. These games will be in high definition where available. That's Big Ten football with pregame coverage starting an hour before kickoff, 11 Eastern, right here on the Big Ten Network. So Katie Butterott, the soft jump serve. Pfister looking for Smale and off the block, point to Iowa.
They sure did need that, and as the break was, I was looking at the hitting percentages again. We talked about before break. Minnesota has 4 players that are hitting over 400 and above, while Iowa has 4 girls hitting in the negatives, which is not going to win ball games.
And there, Haggerty hits it long, so Iowa with the 2 straight points. And they've got Christina Meister, sophomore from West Des Moines, serving. Hartman for Gibmeyer. Gibmeyer cross court and puts it away.
She does a great job of working this slide. It's one of her best shots. She sees the hole in the middle of the block and goes for it.
And she is now back to serve for the Gophers. And actually, no, she's not back to serve as there's a substitution made. Michelle Wilbur will enter to serve. The defensive specialist will then stay in, play the back row for the Gophers. Pfister to Smale. Blocked. Iowa keeps it up. And there, with the soft touch, Laura Kramer with the kill.
You know, one of the things I noticed here was the fact that the setter is setting the ball almost on the 10-foot line, which in order to be successful, needs to be on the net so they can get up and crush it. They're not seeing their blockers. The farther it is off the net, the less vision they get on what's going on across the net.
Jesse Jones crushes that one. And Minnesota already at 20, leading by 12. Hartman served it up. And that was hit out. So another point for Minnesota.
You know, some of the people talk about what are the key factors to being successful in any match. Passing is one of them. And right now, Iowa's not passing terrible. I think they're having a little setting confusions, again, as I mentioned before, and just being aggressive at the net and fierce and wanting nothing more but to put the ball on the floor.
And right there, Kramer tried it, but she hit it long. So 21-8. A lot of errors so far hitting by Iowa, and that's why the hitting percentages are way down. Schipper able to put it between 3 Golden Gophers for the point inside out.
Those are the communication errors. Every point is extremely important for Minnesota. They're looking to improve their season. It's not just about this match. It's about bettering the team for the end of the season, going into the tournament. Those communication errors need to be fixed.
Haggerty hit it hard, but out. So Laura Kramer trying to get another point on her serve. The junior who began her career as a walk-on here at Iowa. And Jesse Jones just pounding away in the middle.
As she gets warm, Iowa's going to have to figure out a way to shut her down. There, they have the block needs to be closed. We see Pfister a little open. She didn't quite get there laterally. Needs to close that block and be dominating force defensive-wise on the net. for Jones.
Vodorot hit it long, no touch. So point to Iowa. Amy Huffman re-enters for Iowa to replace Christina Meister as Kylie Pfister, the setter, to serve. Jones able to get it, but then the put away by Iowa, long, so goes back to Minnesota, and you just can't make that error with that.
No, and a lot of people would question, well, why didn't she rip that the first time? She would have had that the first time. She got herself a little off balance. She's reaching back the second overpass. Put it away the first time. Get that point, put the ball on the floor, and have the serve go a different way.
Ball got through, so a point for Iowa siding out.
Right there, you see the blockers not completely pressed over the net. They'll get up and going straight up, but they need to be pressing over the net in order to be successful with that block.
Harmon for Gibmeyer, quick set. Iowa has it in play. And right there, a nice little move by Amy Huffman to find the hole in the court.
She got lucky. It's very important for the defense on Minnesota side to stay deep. We always talk about staying on that back line. That way they can move laterally whichever way they see the ball going.
Gibmeyer catching the line, so side out back to Minnesota. 5 points away from taking game number 1.
It's a great placement for that ball. Right deep corner, very difficult for defense to get to.
Hoffman off the block, Gibmeyer couldn't locate it. So Iowa fighting. They need to make a run, though, if they want to get back into game number 1.
See if they can do it with serve. SID also mentioned that their service errors were out this building. They're just high or kite, and they need to lower those in order to get the opportunity to score points.
Dieter dug up back to the Iowa side. A good rally going on here. The look for Smale, and Roysland couldn't handle it. So Iowa now down by 10, 25-15.
Iowa got lucky there. She swung high, and actually it looked to me like it was going out of bounds. She really needs, back row needs to be communicating again. We keep going back to it. Communication errors. Could have been an easy point for Minnesota.
Off the block, Vodorot scores for Minnesota. And she will go back to serve for the Gophers. Again, and she has been on target in game number 1.
She's hitting 500 right now with 5 kills and 8 attempts with only 1 error. She's doing a fantastic job. Iowa needs to get in front of that slide, shut her down, have a little more option to watch out for the other players on the court.
Out of bounds by Kramer. So Minnesota 28-15.
They did mention that Gibmeyer was somewhat the MVP of this team. She's the most consistent player, and she is showing us that tonight.
From the back, Royston gets it over. Can Iowa convert? Dig by Vodorot. Saved by Haggerty. Pfister in the middle, and off of Roysland, Laura Kramer with the kill.
Very well done by Pfister. She did a fantastic job of showing something else and going with the middle. She's one-on-one. In those situations, your middle should be able to put that ball away.
Christine Meister serve. Soft one, Dieter there. In the middle for Gibmeyer, pounding it hard off of Meister into the crowd.
It's going to be interesting to see as the duration of the match goes, who Iowa's going to start committing on, and then who the setter for the Minnesota side is going to go to.
Gibmeyer's been great all year, a freshman. She's serving on game point. Dug and kept alive. Jones, though, blocked by Kramer. Iowa not yet done, 29-17.
Kramer saw that go into Jones, gets up and attacks it, presses her hands over the net, solid as a rock.
Still game point, though. Jones unable to finish it. Shipper. Now Hartman tried to go quick. Iowa ready. Haggerty's dug. Look to Haggerty again off the block and still alive. Schipper finding the middle of the court. Iowa in a big heap of trouble. They're still down 11. Minnesota's got a lot of game points, but trying to make a run with Smith.
And I sure give credit to Schipper. She's doing a fantastic job of pulling off the net, working that knee brace. I know from personal experience, it's very difficult to work in. She's doing what she can to get across.
And Jessie Jones can't finish it, so Iowa with their best run of the match in a desperate time for them. They're down 10. Oh, and Gibmeyer did not handle that one properly.
This is something that Minnesota's side has also talked about as their 7-season run of losses has happened. They've had communication errors. They haven't been able to finish out matches. This is something, all it is, it's so simple, Nora. It's just, it's very simple that, you know, all it takes is 1 point. All it takes is someone to light one on fire, and that's it.
Yeah,
it sounds so simple, but it's hard to figure out.
And Coach Hebert said, you know, here's his quote, when pressure mounts, we tend to tighten up, and that's cost them to lose a lot of big points during the 7-match losing streak where they had a few of those matches where they probably should have won, and they let things get away from them.
Right now I think Hebert should be saying, this is what happens to us all the time. This is a perfect moment where we can learn from. This is what we practice and practice from. Take what you learn in practice and put it out on the court right now. Who's gonna carry this team? Who is going to put this ball away to close out this match? As for Iowa, they're looking and saying, all right, we're on a good run here. We're down 9. It's not over yet. Don't turn your back. Don't look for each other to make that play. Someone step up, and let's turn this season around.
4-0 run by Iowa to get them to 29-20. Big Ten fans, enter the BCS Bound for the Big Easy Sweepstakes for your chance to win a trip to the 2008 All-State BCS National Championship game in New Orleans and HGTV or other great prizes. For more, log on to bcsbound.com. Smale puts it in play. Hartman the look to Gibmeyer from the back row, and there is the game winner. Minnesota takes game 1 30-20, and they'll switch sides, and we'll come back for game number 2 at the Sports Pavilion in Minnesota right after this.
Their greatest desire is to be the best. Millions of fans have watched them compete. Displaying unshakable drive and unmistakable talent, they've inspired future generations to dream big. And above all, they've made us proud on and off the field. I'm Commissioner Jim Delaney, and that's our Big Ten story.
Celebrating Big Ten women's athletics. Stories of tradition and excellence.
The tradition, the emotion, the excitement is here.
Can you believe that? Wow!
Big Ten Men's College Hoops, tonight, only on the Big Ten Network. BigTenNetwork.com. News, videos, highlights, and so much more. It's Big Ten Country online.
There's a place where a total stranger will give their blood to save your life. There's a place where someone you never knew will save your child from drowning. A place where people will give you food and shelter after a flood. There's a place where, when you need it most, someone will reach out their hand, put it across your shoulder and say, everything's going to be okay. That place is called America, where we look out for each other. And it's up to us to keep it that way. When you help the American Red Cross, you help America.
Back here just before the start of game number 2. Minnesota taking game 1 30-20. And let's take a look at some of the highlights from game number 1. Minnesota off to a hot start with Jessie Jones putting away a miss hit. And Lauren Gibmeyer, really the story of game number 1, hitting .583, and the block as well by the freshman.
Yeah, she's definitely carrying the load of this team tonight, and apparently in other nights as well. She's the notable in most matchups this season.
Take a look at the stats there, and you gotta see that second row jumping right out at you, the hitting percentage.
Absolutely, and we've seen it all season long. The Big Ten is so fierce and so competitive that you see different things every single night. Anything could go any way.
Gibmeyer hitting a cool .583 in game number 1. So just before we get the start of game number 2 here, Minnesota obviously came out with a spark there. What were they doing maybe to get them back on track?
You know, there's some things that teams can practice during their off days in the gym, their comfort zone. A lot of things that we did in practice at Michigan was consequence drills or pressure situations where the scores jumbled up. It's 28-13, and the 13 is the starting side that needs to figure out a way to win that match. Those are some of the positions you can put your team in to help put themselves in those situations and then have consequences for them to pay afterwards, just as losing a match is a consequence.
Haggerty here at the net to get the first point of game number 2. Christine Tan serving for Minnesota. Shipper dug by Tan. Dieter can't put it away. Pfister gets it over. From the back row, Meister. Now Vutterott just tried to punch it over. And Kramer hit it out. The Big Ten Network is looking for its most passionate fans with Big Ten super fans. The Big Ten Network wants to reward its loyal viewers with chances to win great prizes like tickets to a Big Ten game, TVs, iPods, and much more. Register now at BigTenNetwork.com. Set for Vutterott, and off the block, she gets the point.
Those are a favorite shot of an outside hitter where you can get up, you can rip it into the middle hitter's hands and swipe it off. When the block's not completely closed, or if the middle blocker's hand is a little farther back than the other hand, it's very easy to hit it off one hand and hit it out of bounds. That's the best shot because it's almost guaranteed not to be played up again.
Pfister there on 2, catching Minnesota off guard. And by the way, Kylie Pfister has passed Barb Zvonek for 4th all-time in Iowa history in assists. Back set for Dieter, hit it long. So Iowa trailing 3-2 here, and already they've been more competitive to start game 2 than they were in game 1.
It definitely helped having them have that push at the end of game 1. Now they're seeing it, they're building the momentum, their communication is getting better. You see they're coming together a little more as a team. It's all good things.
Ace here by Laura Kramer as Gibmeyer and Tan just kind of looked at each other.
And that goes back to the communication errors that need to be limited, as Hebert says.
Jessie Jones punches it over. 4-3 in Minnesota here in game 2.
It's a great punch by Jessie Jones. She has one blocker up. She sees it. The left side pulls off, but is a little late. Also, Shipper's not moving well, so if you hit it towards her spot, you're almost guaranteed a point.
Vutterott swinging free and hitting it hard.
This is a great play by defense. She digs it up. Where is the middle blocker there? She needs to turn around faster to see that ball. That's a great play by the Iowa's defense.
Shipper there off the block to get the point for Iowa. 5-4 with Pfister back on serve. Hartman looking for Gibmeyer, and a net violation called on Minnesota, so goes back to Iowa, tied at 5.
Net violation from our net cam here. She's obviously falls through a little tight. The ball was set a little tight.
And another ace for Iowa, this time Pfister with the service winner.
that's a good start for them because the coach talked about in the beginning, serving has been an issue. Their errors have been skyrocketing. Getting the ball into play is the first step to success.
And there, ball hit in by Minnesota to break up the run and tie it back up at 6.
Also, another great shot by an outside hitter is the line on the right side of the court. Opposite, when your setter passes the ball, it takes her out of the offense, it screws up the whole system, and it is successful for the other side to score that point.
So substitution in for Iowa, Megan Eskew to go back to serve. As Shipper goes out and getting some instruction from Coach Cindy Frederick. Hartman will look for Butterot. There's Smale. Pfister tried to go on 2 again, not that time. Butterot another chance and off the block with the point.
I love that play. That is what is called a high 5 and 5, where the back row takes the ball, presses it all the way out to the outside. She calls it, she's being loud. 5 feet into the court, 5 feet off the net, gives the hitter almost guaranteed a great swing. She doesn't go into the net, she's not too far off. Great job by defense, love to see that.
You love the outside hitting.
I
we
do.
Know that.
Can you tell? I love outside position. You do get a lot of junk on the outside there.
Minnesota another point to take the lead. And that one hit long by Katie Kennedy. So Minnesota now 9-7 here in game number 2. Butterot serving it up. Look to Smale. Tipped back by Gibmeyer. Haggerty hitting cross court, dug by Heiza. Gibmeyer didn't fall for that one by Pfister. And Smale, off the touch, gets the point.
It's a great dig by Faiza. She is also said to be the team bond that holds them all together. She's very outspoken on the court, very quiet off the court. She's team captain. There, Smale needed to take a big rip at it. She was a little off balance. She got 2 underneath it, didn't reach as high. That's part of how failure on that hit.
Gibmeyer gets the point for Minnesota. Jessie Jones re-entering the lineup to play in the front. Smale off the block, there's Tan. And Jessie Jones with the put away.
That's what she's known for, getting up and swinging and bouncing a ball right before the 10-foot line. Great set by Hartman. Puts it right in her hands. And that celebration that's always necessary at the end of everything.
Joust situation. From the back, Gibmeyer. Dug by Pfister. And the point to Iowa as Huffman just went over on a setting it over. Minnesota scrambling, couldn't get it up. And now Huffman, the freshman from Texas, won 3 straight state titles in high school, her sophomore through senior years. A look for Kramer, cut it cross court, dug up. Chance for Haggerty, and she finds the middle of the court.
The advantages of Iowa running this slide is that they have somewhat of a small outside blocker right now with Dieter on the end there. She, not small, but she's one of the smaller outside hitters. And running it to the back gives her an opportunity to put the ball on the floor, running it from behind instead of running in front, where your middle is Jessie Jones in the middle there.
Big block by Jessie Jones there to get the point for Minnesota. And just like that, Minnesota's up 4, 13-9. Hartman serving. Pfister looking to Kramer again. The dink works as Tan can't quite reach it.
I think she saw the 2 sturdy blockers there. They were closed. There wasn't much room for her to go through. But that was a great thing. The libero is sitting back on her heels back there. It's great to throw in a tip every now and then.
Dieter trying to go cross court. Heiza there with the dig. Pfister for Smale in the back. Hit it to a former high school teammate, Hartman, who put it back up. Again to Kramer, cutting it to Haggerty. And there's Jessie Jones using her height for the point.
Now here is the disadvantage to running the slide. If the setter is not on, she's going to have an issue of getting it into the court. Because of the antenna, you cannot hit around the antenna, you have to hit inside the antenna. It's very difficult for the middle to work around it when the set is way off and unbalanced. So the setter needs to put it in the perfect location in order for the middle to get a good rip on.
Shipper with her best rip of the match there, catching the corner cross court. Iowa side out, trailing by 3. And there's Jessie Jones hammering away. So Jessie Jones will go out in the back row after the kill there. So a timeout on the floor here. Minnesota 15, Iowa 11 in game number 2.
Saturday on the Big Ten Network, it's a colossal showdown at the Horseshoe. Beanie Wells and the top-ranked Buckeyes look to remain perfect and keep their national title hopes alive.
Touchdown, Buckeyes!
But they'll have to slow down the Wisconsin squad eager to make a statement in this pivotal conference clash.
Nobody will catch him! Touchdown, P.J. Hill!
Saturday at 18, only on the Big Ten Network. Andy and Jordan.
Yeah!
Let's rock. Two guys crisscrossing Big Ten country.
You're a sensitive guy! You're wearing a turtleneck!
Jordan's sexy, am I right?
Perhaps.
On a mission to find out everything there is to know about each campus.
I'm a journalist! Let me journal! Let me journal! Let me journal! This, kind of worked out how I wanted.
Join their journey every week on Big Ten Friday Night Tailgate. Only on the Big Ten Network.
I'm gonna have a wing-ding of a time.
Join host Mike Hall to find out what's happening on campus as your school preps for the big game. Get up to the second reports and see campuses battle it out to determine who has the best football atmosphere. Friday Night Tailgate, Fridays at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, only on the Big Ten Network. 15-11 here in game 2. Much more competitive game than game number 1 was when Minnesota dominated.
It is, and we talked about the hitting percentage before and after game 1. And Minnesota is down 3 to 12, 30, hitting percentage of 312, which is very good still. But Iowa has upped their hitting percentage to 41, which is an improvement from the negatives. But if they want to win this game, they're going to have to get that up as well.
Pfister got it to Kennedy, who just punches it through the block.
Up and over, just through. She needs to continue to press across the net to get that ball on the other side.
Pfister jumps through. Look to Dieter, and she gets it down.
That is what we call a swing hit, where you pass from the back row and you come up to the front row. I always loved it because you're still building momentum as long as it's a good pass. Of course, some people don't pass very well. Not mentioning any names here. Passing first and then building momentum up to a swing. Great job by Dieter by controlling that pass there as well.
Trickled through the net there, so Iowa gets the point, trailing by 3. And there, Smale couldn't put it away. Pfister in the middle. Kennedy off the chest of Dieter. This time to look to the outside. Works for Amy Huffman.
And again, Iowa's been doing the directional block thing where you use both hands and you shove it down to the floor. It's what we call the directional block, rather than just getting up and ripping it. She took a good hard swing, high arm swing, snapped her wrist. It'd be on the floor. That would be their point. It would have went a different way.
Vutter out there with the line shot. Goes back to serve. Huffman just has to get it over. Now Gibmeyer on the slide. Smale. Look to Haggerty. Left side into the net. Point to Iowa. 17-15 here in game 2 after the Haggerty error. Emily Heiser started all 84 games and playing every match this season. She started every match of her Iowa career.
It's a great setup by both blockers. They do a great job of setting the block. The outside hitter does a great job of setting the block. The middle hitter gets over to her, closes, presses across the net. It's all good for the Iowa side.
Heiser jump serve. Gibmeyer put away, and Minnesota back up by 2.
Iowa's gonna have to figure a way to shut her down. She's been extremely successful with hitting .400. Got 10 kills and 2 airs for the night. Not too bad.
Hand dig, another one. Libero everywhere. And a 4 contact call on Minnesota, so the point to Iowa on the side out to Amy Huffman. Tan, co-defensive player of the week in the Big Ten earlier this season, showing some of that.
Minnesota's had consistently great liberos in their days. They had Paula Genshu, who is absolutely amazing, who now I believe plays for the U.S. national team, or Beach, one of the two. But they're all hands-on, they're always moving, they're low to the ground. Very great defensive liberos.
A lift called there, so Minnesota gets the point, now leading 20-17. Rachel Hartman, the setter, to serve. Soft floater, clips the net and over. Kramer on the slide, cross court, finding the line.
I give credit to Kramer. She did a nice job of seeing where the ball landed. The set, Pfister is still setting the ball 2 off the net, and in order to have her hitters be more successful, I think she needs to press it to the net tighter, but Kramer did a nice job of staying back, seeing where the ball was going to go, and getting a good rip on the ball.
Service error by Smale there. Gives Minnesota the possession, up 3. In the middle, Kramer with the kill.
And that's what starts it. A great pass from the defense, backcourt, a great set from Pfister. Kramer getting up and ripping the ball. That's what's going to get the momentum to go a different way for either team, whether it happens on the Minnesota side or the Iowa side.
Butterod dug up by Kramer. From the back, Smale. Tan is there. A look for Butterod again. Again, Smale digs her. And that one's out. The point to Iowa. And Iowa remaining close, down by just 1. They've had the lead a couple times early in game number 2, trying to get it back. Jessie Jones in the middle, and this time she's blocked. But it was out off the block, so Jessie Jones getting the kill.
It's a great job by Jessie Jones using the middle blocker. She was one-on-one there. Did a great job of using the middle blocker's hands and swiping it out.
Shipper tried to go cross court and Tan there with the dig. Dieter off the block. Sydney Mueller there. And the whiff by Lauren Gibmeyer.
It's a great shot. Minnesota almost got lucky with Mueller handling that second hit. Looked like she could have double touched it there, but they push on and finish the point. They get the serve back.
Looking to Butterod, and she pounded it, and Pfister just putting the arms up to protect herself.
She's doing a great job of seeing the whole court. She's back there, she's getting behind the 10-foot line, watching the ball get set to her area, and then moving to the location she needs to be at. She's doing a fantastic job there on the outside from the Minnesota side.
Gibmeyer long on the slide. So Iowa once again down by 1 with the ball to try and tie up game number 2. Megan Eskew in to serve for the Hawkeyes. A freshman from Indiana. Gibmeyer in the middle with the kill.
Nara is back to serve now, but she is doing a great job for the Gophers this game. She is at her season high of kills at 10 right now. And she is hitting a 474, which some say that 250 is a great game ender or match ending number for hitting percentage, but 474 is not too bad either.
Not too bad at all. A look to Gibmeyer, who's been hitting well in the match as well. Smale couldn't quite put it away. Dieter with the dive to get it, and that one is long though. So Iowa again getting the point.
Rohrig was very slow about getting off the net. The ball was set off balance. She's having to backpedal and swing over her head. Needs to work to get back off the net and get a good grip out of that ball, whether the ball's off the net or not.
Iowa, good job on defense to save it. We're tied at 24. And there, the soft, velvety touch by Gibmeyer.
And great play by her. This defense on the Iowa side is looking for her to just keep crushing them, keep crushing them. She's mixing up, throwing little tips. They're sitting back on their heels. Make them work for that point.
She will serve for the Gophers. Served it, tried to catch the line on the right side, could not. So we are again tied at 25. Game number 2 going back and forth between these two squads. Huffman puts it in play, and a miscommunication there. Gibmeyer and Tan running into each other, and Iowa leads 26-25 with a timeout here on the court. So when we come back, we'll see if Iowa can finish out game number 2 to tie up the match here in Minneapolis.
Sometimes you have to play hurt. That goes for fans, too. This is Big Ten country, and this is where it lives. To make sure you get the Big Ten Network, go to BigTenNetwork.com or call 866-1B10.
Can't keep up with all the Saturday action?
You'll run away from everybody. Touchdown!
Then catch up with Big Ten Extra Points. Every scoring play from every Big Ten game.
Can he get away? Good move. Touchdown!
The throw is caught for the touchdown! All in one show.
To the end zone. Touchdown! This is absolutely unbelievable.
Big Ten Extra Points. Monday nights only on the Big Ten Network.
Welcome back, Nara, Weng, and Danielle Pflum here in Minnesota as Iowa leading 26-25 in game 2. And don't forget, this Monday we've got more Big Ten Network volleyball as these Iowa Hawkeyes take on the Michigan Wolverines. That's this Monday at 7, only on the Big Ten Network. Look to Kyla Rohrig, cross court and in for Minnesota to tie it up at 26.
It's a great point for Minnesota. The reason why coaches take time out is to have the team settle down and for them to get the momentum back on their side. He may have said, you know, look, our passing's not terrific. We're also, again, having communication errors. The last point before break was all about the middle trying to take the libero's ball. Always let the libero have the ball. She's probably most likely the better passer. Let her take it.
Brooke Dieter there with the big block to give Minnesota the lead. And Jessie Jones there extends the lead to 28-26. So the timeout working wonders.
And she was doing she just did there what Iowa needed to do the last couple plays about either directional blocking or just getting up and ripping it. Jessie Jones didn't hesitate about getting up and taking a swing at it rather than messing around with pushing it to one side to the other.
So Cindy Frederick, seeing Minnesota come out of their timeout on a 3-0 run, takes a timeout herself as she again is facing a game 2 loss here. Minnesota 2 points away. And when Minnesota takes a 2-0 lead, they are 10-1 this season.
Right now, the Iowa side needs to come out and say, look at the score. We're not down by that much. 2 points isn't much. If you get 3 or 4, you're going to see a little bit of a pattern about the other side running away. But right now, take care of your side of the court and watch the points grow as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and taking care of what you can be taken care of.
Jessie Jones, we talked about her in the open, trying to be a team leader, calling on some old teammates of hers when she was young and trying to find out what did they do to help out Minnesota when they had some tough stretches in the past as seniors.
And one of which, her season started out as an 0-4 season. It was the worst start in Minnesota history. She said, you know, sit back, be the team leader that you are, take control, be the go-to player, and take it in your hands. No one else is going to do it. White Golly, figure out a way to get it done.
So right there from the back, Eskew didn't hit it well, but Minnesota wasn't set for it to just kind of go over the net like that. So Iowa sides out, down by 1, 28-27, with Catherine Smale, the junior from St. Charles, Illinois. Dieter off the block, and this is game point now for Minnesota.
Great swing by Dieter. She's off the net. She's waiting. Pulls with her stomach. Everything she's got goes right through the middle of the block.
Tan to try and give Minnesota game number 2. Schipper. And there it is. Minnesota 30-27, taking a 2-0 lead. So we're going to stay right here and talk to Iowa head coach Cindy Frederick. Find out what her team needs to do to break out of this 2-0 run. Coach, welcome to the broadcast. Nara Weng here, and obviously you guys look like you may have been able to take game number 2. Minnesota came on strong at the end to take it. You're now trailing 2-0 going to the break. What are you going to tell your team?
You know, we're letting things drop that we can't let drop. At the last minute, you know, we're missing serves that we can't miss. We're letting balls drop that we shouldn't be having drop. We've got to set our blocks better. I think right now they're taking us a lot line, and they're going after my setter. We've got to set a block around her and set the defense around her a little bit better, and then everybody's got to dig. We've struggled with this all year, finishing things, and we're so close to doing it, and then at the last minute we'll let a ball drop, or we don't go for a ball, or we make kind of an unforced error. So those are the things we're going to have to take care of.
Right now, who's hurting you the most on Minnesota's side?
You know, Dieter's hitting really well. I think she's doing a good job. Gibemeyer in the first game just absolutely killed us. I thought we did a good job on number 4 on the outside. But and then Jessie's up against my freshman middle hitter, so that's a definite advantage for Minnesota. But also, you know, we're trying some different things. We're trying to get our freshmen a lot more involved, and that's going to be important for us down the road.
Thank you very much, Coach. Best of luck the rest of the match.
All right, thank you.
So when we come back, we'll talk about how things are going in the Big Ten and see how this match has unfolded so far. Minnesota leads 2-0 on their home floor, trying to break a 7-match losing streak.
The tradition, the emotion, the excitement is here.
Can you believe that? Wow!
Big Ten Men's College Hoops, tonight, only on the Big Ten Network. Log on to BigTenNetwork.com and register for the Big Ten Superfans program. Sign up and you can win tons of great prizes by watching the Big Ten Network. Show your passion. Become a Big Ten Superfan today.
I went from wearing red, white, and blue of the U.S. to maroon and gold of Minnesota. Regardless of the stage, I thrived on the daily hard work and the thrill of performing. Through gymnastics, I developed a strong work ethic, persistence, and goal setting, all of which helped me in my daily life and in my work as a physician. I'm Marie Rufflesberger, and that's my Big Ten story.
Celebrating Big Ten women's athletics. Stories of tradition and excellence.
Put them things down, Miss Clara, because I'm going to kiss you.
We've never been introduced.
You wouldn't recognize me in an elevator. We enjoy different sports.
But if you ever need it,
I will give you my blood.
When you help the American Red Cross, you help America.
Back here in Minnesota at the intermission, Minnesota up 2-0 over the Hawkeyes. Big Ten fans, Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. The action continues on the Big Ten Network. It all starts with the Suzuki pregame show. Then the top-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes host Wisconsin, or Ball State takes on Indiana. And then in primetime, Illinois battles the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. Coverage wraps up with the postgame show, followed by the finale. And hello here, courtside Nara, Weng, and Danielle Pflum. Game 1, not so close. Game 2, however, was competitive, and then Minnesota pulled it out at the end. And really, it's kind of symptomatic of what we're seeing throughout the Big Ten this year.
Yes, it is. The Big Ten has always been a fierce competitive place, and whether or not you play well on a given night or anything could happen. The 11 team could beat the 1 team. The 1 team could lose to the 5 team. It's all a big mystery, but it's an exciting match we have here tonight. Hopefully that we can see one of these teams stand strong and finish it off.
Yeah, and you're right about that. Anyone can beat anybody, and when you just look at the standings, you'll see them parity. I mean, maybe no one can beat Penn State this year. They look really good, top-ranked in the country.
They're a little far-fetched, and I mean, give it to them. They are playing great, and when you watch them play against any of the other Big Ten teams, you know who's going to take it.
But when you look at these conference standings, besides Penn State and Wisconsin at the top and Iowa at the bottom, take a look at the middle there. Third place tie between Illinois and Purdue at 500, and then how many 5 and 7 teams can there be in the conference? And really, at this point in the season, it's the first time ever that there's this many teams in the conference records with 400 and above. So that just tells you something about the competitiveness in this conference.
Absolutely, and again, we go back to the 11 can beat the 5 or whatever, but Michigan did lose to Iowa, who are trying to still find themselves, and now Michigan's still in the middle of the pack, so it's very interesting how things can play out.
And so we're going to see a little more of, look at these people here in the crowd. They're happy about their team leading 2-0 on Halloween night in Minneapolis.
Saturday on the Big Ten Network, the electric Richard Mendenhall and the Fighting Illini are out to spoil homecoming in Minnesota when they battle the Golden Gophers. Saturday in HD, only on the Big Ten Network. BigTenNetwork.com. News, videos, highlights, and so much more. It's Big Ten Country online. The tradition, the emotion, the excitement is here.
Can you believe that? Wow!
Big Ten Men's College Hoops, only on the Big Ten Network.
Take an in-depth look at the Big Ten's brightest female athletes and coaches on the show designed to shine the spotlight on them.
It's played in, and it's a goal!
The Big Ten Women's Show, Mondays only on the Big Ten Network.
Fans here happy, even the Iowa fans, even though their team trails 2-0 so far tonight. And let's talk a little bit more about our match tonight. We talked about the Big Ten in general, but in our match tonight, Iowa really came out flat. We talked about that they couldn't really do that. Looked a lot better in the second game, but I think the highlights will tell the story.
Yes, I do believe that they are looking a little hesitant in the beginning of the match. They're swinging hesitant, but they're also letting Minnesota make all the great plays. You saw there, she was like, oh, okay, well, it got across, but it wasn't great. Take advantage of when they're down, hit them when they're down.
And they did a better job of that in game number 2.
Yes, they did. They saw a little more swinging action from Shipper on the outside. Now, Brace was holding her down early, but she looks like she's getting a little more mobility in her step. Still got to stop the basics. Jessie Jones doing a fantastic job in the middle. Voderat's doing well. Gibbemeyer, you've got to shut him down.
And Minnesota just taking advantage at the end there to pull out game 2. And let's take a look at the stats through game number 2 and a decided advantage on that Minnesota side.
Absolutely. Look at the kills. Minnesota has 40 kills compared to Iowa's 28. The hitting percentages speak for themselves. The airs speak for themselves. The airs really aren't that bad. A 4 differential, and actually isn't that terrible. But even blocks, 7-3. You You've got to step up. Defense needs to step up in all areas of the game. Iowa needs to be pushing through.
Iowa this season 0-13 when their opponent has a higher hitting percentage. So they have to turn things around quickly if they want to come back. We will see how it goes when we get the start of game number 3 next.
Saturday on the Big Ten Network, it's a colossal showdown at the Horseshoe. Beanie Wells and the top-ranked Buckeyes look to remain perfect and keep their national title hopes alive.
Touchdown, Buckeyes!
But they'll have to slow down the Wisconsin squad eager to make a statement in this pivotal conference clash.
Nobody will catch him. Touchdown, P.J. Hill.
Saturday at 8 only on the Big Ten Network. When these guys speak, people listen.
It's time for Big Ten football.
Thought we went in the game with a little bit of enthusiasm.
Thought it was a great football game.
Coaches Q&A, the one-hour show featuring the highlights from every Big Ten coach's weekly press conference.
We're proud of the way our kids played across the board, offense, defense, special teams.
Our kids have absolutely played their guts out.
Coaches Q&A, tonight only on the Big Ten Network.
All right, just before the start of game number 3 here, Minnesota up 2-0, and we have Minnesota head coach Mike Hebert on headset with us. Nara Weng here with the Big Ten Network. And Coach Hebert, looked like in game 2 that you were almost about to lose it, made a nice run at the end there, and you're about ready to maybe close this thing out. How do you finish it off right now?
Well, we have to adjust a lot better to Iowa's off-speed game. They were blocking well early in game 1, and they just switched to an off-speed tipping, roll shot game. And it's disrupted us really more than I had hoped it would. We have to just shut that down, do a much better job of playing the floor.
Gibmeyer seemed to be the focus in game number 1 and then went away from her a little bit in game 2. Who are you going to look to in game 3?
Well, Katie Voderot's kind of hot right now. We'll probably let her swing on the outside as much as she wants to hit the ball. Gibmeyer is being double teamed right now. We're trying to get her the ball as well. Offensive patterns and distribution of the setting will stay about the same.
Are you happy with your team's defense so far?
Defense has been okay, except for the inability of our players to read those off-speed shots. But I think we'll do a lot better in game 3.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
Minnesota head coach Mike Hebert should be a little bit happier right now, and Katie Voderot is one person he pointed out. 10 kills tonight, season high for her. Voderot, a junior, academic All-Big Ten last season, environmental sciences policy and management major out of Bloomington, Illinois. Last time these two teams faced off, Minnesota had a struggle, but they also swept Iowa. And the last time Minnesota won in general was October 5th against Ohio State, where they nearly blew that one. They jumped out to a 2-0 lead, lost games 3 and 4 before pulling out game number 5 in Columbus. And then the next time they faced the Buckeyes on their home floor, they actually did the same thing, went out to a 2-0 lead, but then they lost game 5 and lost the match.
It is very frustrating, especially for a team like Minnesota, where they have the reputation of being high finish in the Big Ten every year. It is very frustrating to not be able to find that one thing that could turn it all around.
And Iowa starts off game number 3 with the point. Laura Kramer serving it. Nice low serve by Kramer. Set up in the middle, Katie Kennedy off the touch, and 2 straight points to begin game 3 for Iowa. Katie Kennedy grew up in Iowa City. Her parents both graduated from the University of Iowa. Both of her siblings go to the University of Iowa. It's a Hawkeye family. Rohrig, right side. And now Schipper gets it through the block, and Iowa off to a much better start here.
Looks like Schipper's getting her confidence back with that whole knee brace thing. I can't express enough how hard it is mentally, because you know it's there and it reminds you every jump that it's there, but she seems like she's getting her jump back every point of the game.
Jones off the block, out, so the point and side out to Minnesota. Libero Christine Tan will serve for the Gophers. Soft one into the net, couldn't get over there. It's 30 minutes of highlights, analysis, and features dedicated to the world of Big Ten women's athletics. The Big Ten Women's Show, Monday nights at 7:30 Eastern on the Big Ten Network. Jump serve by Pfister. Hartman back set to Dieter. Eyes is there. Pfister looking back row, Smale dug by Tan. Dieter again off the net, not the greatest of sets there.
There has been a couple times in this match in general where each hitter has had to take more than one swing in a rally. And whoever's going to conquer this match is who can do it over and over and over again. Dieter's had a couple times where she's had a couple balls set to her same time in a rally. Got to be able to take care of each and every one. Come heavier and harder each swing.
Violation there, hitting the antenna, so Iowa gets the point.
Looks like she tried really hard to get it across the line, come across her body. Cuts it a little too hard.
Dieter pounding it down. Roycelyn entering the game to serve. There you see it again, Dieter going to line right in front of Heise.
Iowa's outside hitters are giving Dieter, I believe, way too much line. They're not coming out to the antenna far enough and giving her a wide open shot. And the line is very difficult to dig as well.
Vatterott hitting it hard, but hitting it long. So Iowa extending the lead to 5.
Minnesota now passing 2 passers, having all their hitters stand up, maybe having their outside hitters step back for short balls, but trying to take care of the back row with only 2 passers.
Vatterott just looking to get it over, finding a hole in the defense. Iowa unable to get that, and they lose a point. And the block in the middle, Gibmeyer.
Straight up, and the ball goes straight down. It's a great block by her. She's opening her, look at just over the net, pressing, beautiful.
Just got over the net. And Roycelyn keeping it alive. Look to Vatterott. Katie Kennedy couldn't get it past Gibmeyer. Ball still in play. And now it's not in play. Minnesota point.
I think the outside's coming crashing in on the inside. She didn't quite see the ball. It was a bad set, but as an outside hitter, you have to be ready for anything and everything. You're kind of the outlet. There's a bad pass, probably more so going to go the outside. You have a better frame of view and to see the other side of the court.
So Heise puts it into play. Hartman to Gibmeyer. Couldn't terminate. And through the block, Smale does.
Great up by Pfister. She's sitting back there and she says, "Come to me, ball," and just handles it perfectly with ease.
Look to Vatterott, unable to kill. Now Huffman getting it over. Another chance for Vatterott coming up. Gibmeyer. Couldn't end it on 2. Hartman tried. Another try for Vatterott. Put some power on it, but dug by Heise. And in the middle, Gibmeyer. Longest rally of game number 3. Smale wins the joust at the net.
Great job by Vatterott. I said before, she does a fantastic job of just keeping up and ripping it. She doesn't throw in any fancy things. She just gets up and rips it. Love her mindset.
Try her again, off the block. Basically forces to send it over. Kramer didn't have a timing, but somehow snuck it over. Now Smale, cross-court winner.
Those are the points that Gibmeyer needs to take care of. She kind of turned her head a little bit when her head was tipped away from the net.
Iowa up 11-5 when we come back here to Minnesota.
Can't keep up with all the Saturday action?
You'll run away from everybody. Touchdown!
Then catch up with Big Ten Extra Points. Every scoring play from every Big Ten game.
Can he get away? Good move. Touchdown!
The throw is caught for the touchdown! All in one show.
To the end zone. Touchdown! This is absolutely unbelievable.
Big Ten Extra Points. Monday nights only on the Big Ten Network.
Sometimes you have to play hurt. That goes for fans, too. This is Big Ten country, and this is where it lives.
Some cable companies are still not carrying the Hawkeyes. Call and say you want Iowa and the Big Ten Network on basic cable.
Back here in Minneapolis, where the Golden Gophers looking for their first win since October 5th. In Columbus, Ohio, they've lost 7 straight, their worst conference losing streak ever. And really, it's all in the numbers. Their hitting percentage has dipped from 223 to 150 in the 5 wins versus the 7 losses, while their opponents have hit much better. Right there, Minnesota with a good hit and getting a point.
It's a good start to Minnesota's side to take the timeout, to build the momentum back on their side of the net, send the ball to Givemeyer, and she puts it away in the net.
Hoffman well long, no touch, another point for Minnesota. Butterot service error right into the net.
One of the things that Minnesota needs to step up in game 3 so far is their passing. They've been struggling getting the ball up to the setter, and with that, the setter has no options to run her offense.
Kyla Rohrig through the block.
That is such a heavy hit. She does a great job of just getting power through her hit. She swings hard and high. She's very tall, very much power.
Givemeyer sends it out. So another service error for Minnesota. Iowa leading by 5 here in game 3. Givemeyer will go out for Haley Powles, another freshman, another one of those Northern Lights club teammates. Powles, Givemeyer, and Dieter. And Rohrig again, hammering it through.
You know, if one thing's working for you when you're at this point in the match, one thing's working for you, keep on going. She's now hit 2 balls fiercely through the blocker's hands. If it's working for you, keep going back to Kylie Rohrig.
Try on the right side this time. Kramer on the slide, and she gets the kill. Powell's unable to get there to keep
Not
the
really
ball in play.
sure what Dieter was doing here. She kind of backed off the net. Jessie Jones got the touch on the ball. Dieter needs to be ready for anything. I think that's one of the things, being a freshman, what comes with experience.
And Rohrig, another kill. She will leave for defensive purposes, but not before she got it done with the hammer. Shipper can't put it away. Look for Butterot, and she does.
She's getting her points. They're well earned. She's doing everything right as an outside hitter. She's holding, watching where the ball is located before actually making her move into her approach. It's extremely important to hold, especially when you have a setter that has tendency to set it off the net a little bit or maybe a little tight. You need to hold, watch where the ball's going, and then explode through it. She's doing a fantastic job doing so.
Sorry, Danielle. Jessie Jones finished off the last point, and Minnesota's down by just 2. They go to Jones again, blocked this time. Butterot just does find the hole at the 10-foot line.
Now, one thing from that play that I'm getting from Jessie Jones that she's a little better than Givemeyer at is is looking for balls. And when it gets into the block, she's turning around and looking for it rather than letting the back row take care of it.
So Minnesota down 1, trying to rally in game 3.
Big Ten Football Saturday.
This is absolutely unbelievable.
The legendary coach. The Heisman Trophy winner. The classic stadium. And the biggest rival. This is Big Ten country. This is where it lives.
Andy and Jordan.
Yeah!
Let's rock. Two guys crisscrossing Big Ten country.
You're a sensitive guy. You're wearing a turtleneck.
Jordan's sexy, am I right?
Perhaps.
On a mission to find out everything there is to know about each campus.
I'm a journalist. Let me journal. Let me journal. Let me journal. This kind of worked out how I wanted.
Join their journey every week on Big Ten Friday Night Tailgate. Only on the Big Ten Network.
I'm going to have a wing-ding of a time.
We are back here. You see Jesse Jones on the left, Kyla Rohrig on the right there. Two of the spark plugs in Minnesota's run here of 4 straight points.
Rohrig kind of just stepped into the game and started terminating. We didn't see her much through games 1 or 2. She sure is doing her thing in game 3 here.
And the block there for Minnesota.
Definitely something Dieter needed at this point of the game. She needed to know that confidence booster, pressing her arms, being where she's supposed to be on the block. Job well done by Dieter.
Shipper off the block. Minnesota chance for Dieter. And she hits it deep and in.
She really didn't have much of a blocker up there. She had a huge hole, but she went right over the top into middle and outside blockers in the outside.
Joust. Iowa chance to snap. Minnesota 6-0 run. But Butterot extends it to 7. And they lead by 2.
Again, she saw that the setter was going to struggle getting it all the way out. She held her position. It's a great dig to start with. She holds her position and she moves to where the ball's at. It's a great rip on the ball. Great footwork.
Shipper had to stop and retrace to get to that one. Jones went soft that time, couldn't put it down. And there, a miss hit by Katie Kennedy into the net. 17-14, Golden Gophers. Kennedy blocked again here, and Minnesota out to a 4-point lead.
Iowa looks like they're going through the blah stages again. They're just running through the motions. Someone on the other side needs to step up and take control of this game. Whether it be the setter doing something like that, or whether it be just a good pass and one of the hitters just absolutely gets up and rips a ball. It could be the game turner.
So Pfister spotted the right corner, sent it over, and now she'll go back to serve for the Hawkeyes. Dieter on the right side. Block up, got another chance, but off the block, it's down for Iowa.
Before that point, Minnesota had 11 unanswered points, which means they're doing a lot of their own work, which is something that's very, very necessary if they want to pull out this win.
Harmon to Butterot, and she couldn't quite reach it, went soft, but knocked back over, and Iowa gets the point.
And going back to the comment before I made just before, it's not only important in this match to have make their own points, but in rally scoring all season long, it means you're doing something right on your side of the court, which is good for any other team that walks into this gym.
Jones got a second chance there for a kill, and she terminates. Minnesota up by 2 with Roycelyn entering for Jones to do some serving. Royston, a tremendous athlete. We already talked about the fact that she played for the Golden Gopher basketball team. Also a great golfer in high school. Shipper on the right side. Just gets it over. Chance in the middle for Gibmeyer, and she hit it long. In to serve for Iowa, Megan Eskew. Gibmeyer again got it over onto the other side for a Minnesota point.
Again, Minnesota's running the 2.5 passers back there in the back row, which gives the opportunity for Dieter to pass short. She took that ball with her hands, handled it very well, and gets a great swing on the ball.
Amy Huffman with her best swing of the night to side out for Iowa. And that one is out by Heiza. So the side out goes back to Minnesota, leading by 2.
One of the things that the Iowa squad can't seem to figure out is that they make a killer play the play before. She gets up, she rips at the ball, point Iowa. Now take it back at that serve, focus, make sure the ball's in. That could be the biggest crusher, because if you miss a serve after a great play, it kind of washes out the points.
All about momentum, which we've talked about a lot tonight. And right now the momentum is on the Gopher side. Butterot serving it, and then that might be a momentum killer. She puts it in the net. Second service error of this game. And Amy Huffman back for Iowa. Rohrig, dug by Heiza. Gibmeyer calling for it. Now Kramer, dug by Dieter at the net. Point still up for grabs. Smale blocked, and that's down. Be sure to tune in next Friday for Big Ten field hockey semifinals action. All the action starts at noon Eastern, live from Columbus, right here on the Big Ten Network. I think you know the color commentator on those field hockey broadcasts.
I do. My former Michigan freshman roommate, Carol Lentz, will be with you on Sunday. Hi, Carol, if you're watching.
The kill there by Minnesota. Rohrig getting the point. And I believe our producer, Mark Balk, is going to be producing the field hockey semifinals. Kramer stuffed by Rohrig, so Rohrig doing it on the defensive end as well.
You know, and as of experience, she is quite the wall. When you see that going up as an outside hitter, and all you see is arms, you're thinking, oh no. But she does a fantastic job of working both sides of the net.
And another block, Jessie Jones cutting that one off.
You know, I think Minnesota, this is what Minnesota needs. A couple of their things that they're so good at. Just keep doing it, keep pushing through. Get the things that they're good at, get excited about it. Get fired up so that you can take that to the next play. Iowa just took a timeout. They're trying to kill the momentum. Don't let it happen. Find a way to get back in it.
See the blocks, Minnesota with a 6-block advantage tonight. Part of the reason why they won games 1 and 2 and why they're leading 26-20 here in game number 3. And really, Iowa is in danger of losing their 5th straight match by sweep. Not just their 9th straight match overall, but it would be their 5th by sweep. And how demoralizing is it when you can't even win games?
It is, absolutely. And it's very, very frustrating. But it goes back to what we told you, the audience, about what Coach Frederick said. She was a little hesitant, a little nervous about this game. With that being the case, it shows a lot on the court. When the girls don't think they have confidence in themselves, or the coach is kind of hesitant, that creates hesitancy within the whole team. They need to be more confident with everything. They are right there. All they need is that push, the kick in the butt to get it going and to finish the games. They could have a different season.
Can't keep up with all the Saturday action? Then catch up with Big Ten Extra Points. Every scoring play from every Big Ten game, all in one show. That's Big Ten Extra Points, Mondays at 7 Eastern, only on the Big Ten Network. Kramer on the slide, terminates for Iowa. Iowa in need of a scoring run to get back and try and survive game 3. And Catherine Smale puts it in play. Hartman to look for Rohrig. Kramer blocked. Pfister taking it herself that time. And there's an Iowa point.
As Iowa goes back to serve the second point now, one of the things that they could be focusing on to help them make a little more success is to serve someone in the front row, such as Kylie Rohrig. She's right there. Serve it short, drop it short, so that Jessie Jones or Rohrig has to handle the ball.
A look to Rohrig, and she just hammers it cross court.
I mean, but what do I know? They definitely need to shut her down. There's no way of stopping her. When she gets hot, she gets hot. Oh, she will knock you down.
Good try by Jones, but not much she could do with that one. So Iowa with the side out, trailing by 4.
Frederick, I think, loving the run that they're on now and hoping they can figure out a way to tie up this match, this game.
Jones just got it over. And Hartman did all she could to just try and get Jones the setup, but Jones just too far away. 27-24, Iowa trailing by 3 with Laura Kramer serving. And there's a service error that really Iowa cannot afford.
No, when they're going the right way with the score, they need to focus. And you want to be aggressive on that service line. You don't want to give up points. But at this point in the match, they need this game to stay in it. And missed serves are not going to do it.
Shipper finds the left corner there. And Iowa still in it, trailing 28-25. But Minnesota just 2 points away, so they need to get points on their serve.
By doing the unexpected, such as Shipper did there, you're catching the other side off balance. It's a good game plan.
The look to Vatterott. Now Huffman stopped by Vatterott. And Minnesota has match point, 29-25.
She goes up and she's one-on-one. Iowa really needs to see that block, and I think it goes back to where the setter's placement is. If it's off the net, you've got to get a good vision on it. You can't if you're pulled off to the 10-foot line.
Roisland trying to end it. Katie Kennedy couldn't put it away. And Gibmeyer, not done yet. The try for Dieter, and that will end it. Minnesota takes game 3, 30-25, and they sweep Iowa on their home floor.
And they are excited. It's the first win in 7 matches, and boy, did they need this.
There you see it, the first win since the beginning of the month. And they sent Iowa, the Hawkeyes have an 0 for October, 0-9 in the month of October, but it's celebration time on Halloween night. They can get ready to trick or treat tonight because they win 3-0 over the Hawkeyes. We will come back to wrap things up tonight here at the Sports Pavilion. The Golden Gophers take the match 3-0 over the Hawkeyes.
The tradition, the emotion, the excitement is here.
Can you believe that? Wow!
Big Ten Men's College Hoops, only on the Big Ten Network. Log on to BigTenNetwork.com and register for the Big Ten Superfans program. Sign up and you can win tons of great prizes by watching the Big Ten Network. Show your passion. Become a Big Ten Superfan today. The Big Ten Football Saturday pregame show, powered by Suzuki.
Welcome into this Big Ten Football Saturday.
All the late-breaking news, updates from all the big games.
Another one of those classic matchups.
Plus, Jerry DiNardo and Howard Griffith have the keys to victory for your team.
Time of possession will be more important in today's game.
This is a very important game for them if they want to go bowling this year.
It's everything you need to know before kickoff. Saturdays, only on the Big Ten Network. The tradition, the emotion, the excitement.
Can you believe that? Wow!
Is here. Over 130 games.
Bullseye! It's good! He's the money player.
One place to see it all. Big Ten Men's College Hoops tips off tomorrow. Only on the Big Ten Network.
Celebrating with the team after a 3-0 sweep of the Hawkeyes tonight. And yeah, it's Halloween, all right. You can see some of the costumes. I think I just saw Betty Rubble, and I think it was a he.
I think I'm a bit disturbed by some of these.
So let's take a look at the final numbers to see how Minnesota got it done tonight. And there you just look at every category, Danielle.
Absolutely. The kills, 57-41, does it all. Sometimes when you don't hit above 250, you don't win games. But in this case, when the other team hits 86, you're probably going to win. The airs even talk for himself. I mean, it's explanatory.
So Minnesota really controlling it with someone who's a big hitter, Kyla Rory.
Yeah, she was pretty quiet for game 1 or 2, but she sure stepped up her game, which was what Minnesota needed. They needed a go-to player, a heavy hitter that could put the ball on the floor inside the court.
So Rory got it done for her team in game 3 to help sweep out the Hawkeyes tonight at the Sports Pavilion. 6 kills and a good hitting percentage for her on the night. And so that snaps a 7-match losing streak by Minnesota and extends Iowa's losing streak to 9. And really, how does Iowa turn things around when they face Michigan on Monday?
You know, they beat them earlier in the season, and I think that by taking this game, taking what they learned from every other match before, and just working at it. Practice the thing that you do. As far as the drills I was talking about earlier, about the pressure situations, and doing all the things on your side of the court. Minnesota didn't necessarily play extremely well. They just did some of the things right that Iowa didn't do right.
So remember that right after we finish up here, we're going to take you to the Ashland, Ohio State basketball game right here on the Big Ten Network. But the story tonight, Minnesota taking control and breaking their worst losing streak in conference history. So 3-0. They close out the Hawkeyes, and we will say goodbye from the Sports Pavilion in Minneapolis.